Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, the last time we covered Dogecoin may have been roughly 10 months to a year ago. So I'm going to cover Dogecoin today. We're going to cover it from 0 to 100 in terms of technical analysis. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know the deal. If this video does do well, if the Dogecoin community is very supportive and this is something you guys want to see, I will continue to do Dogecoin videos. But if this ends up being a flop with 100 views, well, ladies and gentlemen, it makes 0 sense to do it. So, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Dogecoin videos. At the end of the day, I'm doing the coins that have the most views because that's going to impact the most amount of lives. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, look at Dogecoin. Guys, Dogecoin rank number 8 out of 9,496 active cryptos. We can see it's at 38 billion market cap, 2 billion volume in the last 24 hours. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are not aware, Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of meme coins. Okay, once again, yes, you heard it right. Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of meme coins. We can go even just to coin market cap. We can go to something like memes. And guess what? Doge is right there. And Doge has a pretty big lead. There's a pretty big gap between rank 8 and 21 in the world. We can see 37, pretty much 38 billion market cap versus 7.3. So, this coin is, 7 times bigger, roughly, more or less, maybe 6 times. Math might be hard sometimes. But, the point is, Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of meme coins. And yeah, I'm going to say it right now. The one thing I am not a fan of Dogecoin is the fact that it is inflationary. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means every single day, a certain amount of Dogecoins get produced. So it is going to get harder and harder to maintain the price. For example, ladies and gentlemen, right? Whatever amount of money it takes to maintain a 38 billion market cap at 25 cents, it would not be the same amount of money in 4 years. It would require more money to uphold Dogecoin's price. So that's the thing, people. That's the thing. That's the only negative about this crypto is that in terms of longevity wise, it's going to just require more and more and more and more. And you guessed it, more money to obtain the same levels or even just go higher and higher. However, that's something we don't really have to worry about. This cycle, I believe Dogecoin is still going to do fairly well. We will be talking about price targets in just a second. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, back in 2021, we hit pretty much 75 billion market cap. Okay, we hit 75 billion market cap, which is a price of it's not 50 cents, ladies and gentlemen. It was 75 cents, 75 cents. And you can even see, right, with the thing I just said, 38 billion market cap is 25 cents. If we were to do 38 billion times 2, we would be almost at 80 billion market cap. We would be roughly at 76 billion market cap, okay? And we can see, ladies and gentlemen, 76 billion market cap is more or less what we hit last cycle in its peak. But we can see the price is 25 cents. So if we double our market cap and we pretty much have the same market cap of last cycle, it's not 75 cents. It's 50 cents in this case. And that's what I mean. That's the issue with Dogecoin and its inflation. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay, we're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. Luckily, ladies and gentlemen, I still think Dogecoin probably has at least this cycle left before it starts losing its ranking slowly. But like I said, I do ultimately believe, with Dogecoin, you still can make very, very nice money. We can see Dogecoin, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of just in this channel. Now, I am going to say I am not the biggest fan of these types of channels because they usually do not last the longest, okay? And that is just the reality. We can see, right? We have been just consistently going up higher and higher for the most part, but we can actually see a few weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen, we really, really struggled to make a higher high, right? We can see we were at roughly, when we closed the candles, we're almost at 28 cents. And when we go back to this swing area, this was just 27.5 cents. So, we are struggling right now. We are struggling. I do not like this candle close. We still have a couple of days left, but we are losing strength, right? And the fact that we're losing strength means that there's a decent chance that we break out of this channel and have some momentum to the downside, probably at least until, let's just say 20 cents. 20 cents is another support. And from there, we are probably going to be looking to reattempt to reclaim the channel. Here's the deal, people, right? We still have the kind of the Saturday and Sunday left. Well, by the time this comes out, the Sunday, right? If Sunday finds huge momentum and we close above 27.7 cents, then that's going to be fine. If we do not have this momentum, then it is a little bit worrisome because in terms of pure technical analysis, it does show potential reversal signs. And not only potential, but pretty high probability, right? That doesn't mean it's going to be, dumping and dumping and dumping, right? It might be kind of short-lived, but that still doesn't take away the fact. On this channel, if you are new, I'm here to provide you with the truth, and I'm here to be as accurate as I can. I have years of experience with technical analysis, and no, I'm not always going to be perfect 100%, but I have a high enough ratio of success that almost 7,000 people do trust me, and that's why they're subscribed. And not only that, but I've been a trader for multiple years. So, at the end of the day, you have to do your own research, you have to do your own consensus. We can agree to disagree, but just, just watch what I'm saying and see if it does happen. But ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, even if we go down, the question is, where is Dogecoin going to go this cycle? For me, at the bare minimum, if this was a flop of a cycle, at least to 48 cents. Yes, I know that's not the high, that's not the most exciting thing. That's pretty much just a little bit more. That's practically a 2x from here. But I do ultimately believe that this is the bare minimum we should be hitting. I do expect Dogecoin to actually take out these tops at 74 cents. So yes, I do pretty much expect a 3x ultimately from these prices to be happening. Do I think Dogecoin can expand much, much further? Probably not too much, just because the amount of money it requires. If we did expand further than our highs, then we probably would cap out somewhere at the 1.6 and probably between the 2.2 and the 1.6, somewhere over here. So $1.40 is probably the maximum I would personally see Dogecoin going to. Now, of course, this is just a tool. This tool isn't always going to be the most accurate. These numbers have historically worked on many charts, but it doesn't mean it's going to be pumping this high, right? We have to show you and update you in the moment if there's going to be continuations, right? Once we do get to the 74, 75 cents, or if it's just going to be the cycle top, which is why I do technical analysis for a bunch of other coins consistently 3 to 5 times a week. And for some coins, even they have the privilege of getting posted every single day. If you guys would like advanced technical analysis and consistent updates on Doge or other cryptos, make sure to join the private community, as I do that often. I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. $1.40 is my maximum target for Dogecoin this cycle. Once again, the flop target is roughly 50 cents. High probability is 75 cents. And anything after that, I feel like it's a little bit of a blessing. That is all from me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.